Hi guys, Alberto here. You're watching the Bedroom Rocker YouTube channel. Today we are checking out the British TrueTone pedal. In Europe, this is branded as Harley Benton and distributed by music house Thomann. In other parts of the world, this is commonly branded as Joyo, but they are essentially the same pedal. So let's check it out. This pedal is supposed to emulate classic Marshall amplification devices. So like a preamp section, it has got a 3-band EQ, a level, and a drive or gain knob. Besides that, it has this interesting voice knob that controls the overall character of the amp. So having the voice knob all the way down emulates a classic old school Marshall like a JTM 45, so it's very full in the bottom end and very warm. Turning the knob to the middle gives you more like a plexi 1959 sound, so it's a bit more gainy and a bit more punchy. And finally, with the knob turned all the way up, it emulates a JCM 800, so it cuts a bit of the bottom end and adds a lot of gain and just this classic mid-range bite of this amp. There are 3 different ways that you can use these pedals. The first one is as a conventional overdrive hitting the front end of your amplifier. The second one is as a preamp stage, so if your amplifier has got an effects loop, you can plug these pedals directly into the effects return of your amplifier. So you essentially use the pedal as a preamp and you only use the power amp or the output stage of your traditional guitar amplifier. And at last but not the least, these pedals have got a speaker cabinet simulation, which means that you can plug them directly into a mixing desk and into the PA system for performing, or into an audio interface for recording without using an amplifier at all. For the clip in the introduction, I used the pedal straight into my audio interface. However, I did not like the cabinet simulation on it so much, so on top of that I also added the impulse response of a Marshall 4x12 cabinet loaded with Celestion greenbacks, and that's instantly classic British rock and blues sounds. So for you to also hear the cabinet simulation on the pedal, I'm gonna quickly play the exact same audio file now, with and without the addition of the impulse response. Now I'm gonna show you a couple of different settings, plugging the pedal straight into the effects return of the Victory V40. This completely bypasses the preamp stage, so only the reverb and the master volume are working. I'm using the torpedo captor to attenuate the amp, so that I can really crank the master volume and get the power amp valves working. This amp has got 2 EL34s in the power section, so it's a great complement for a Marshall style preamp. For the cabinet, I'm using the Harley Benton G112 Vintage, which is loaded with a Celestion Vintage 30, and I'm gonna mic it with a combination of dynamic and condenser microphones. So let me know what you guys think, make sure to write in the comments below. To me, it does a couple of quite convincing Marshall sounds. It does also a nice range of clean to overdriven tones, although it doesn't really do really high gain stuff. As with many pedals at this price point, you get a couple of nice sweet spots, but you also get a bunch of not so sweet spots, and especially at extreme settings. So starting with the EQ, it is incredibly powerful. You can really add a lot of volume on those specific frequencies. So I would rather start by subtracting frequencies that you don't want, rather than adding frequencies that you're looking for when dialing your tone. So you can see in the clips before, I barely messed up with the EQ because I found it's very easy to dial in a bad sound when messing up with it. Also the voice knob, it doesn't sound so good at the lowest, neither at the highest settings. So I think the best sounds are between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And finally, the drive knob, I found the pedal gets a bit noisy if you crank the gain past 3 o'clock. So it's a pity because you cannot use the full range of gain of the pedal unless you want to use a noise gate or something like that in your signal chain. The Harley Benton British TrueTone goes for 30 euros here in Europe, which is really a steal considering all the nice tones that you get and all the different uses that you have for this pedal. I would likely not use it as a straight overdrive pedal because I already own better pedals for this job. However, I think it's great for an amp-free setup. So if you want to play in an open mic session, for example, you can just bring your guitar and plug straight this into the PA system and it's instantly rock and roll sound. Also, if you play a Marshall amp or a Marshall style amplifier and you want to have a spare amp, this is also a great option to carry in your gig bag. If your power tube goes bad or something like this, you just plug this into your pedal board and you have sounds to go to the front of house and not ruin the show. Finally, for recording at home is also a great option, especially if you do not have a very powerful computer that can process a digital amp modular with low latencies. So you can definitely use this for recording. And if you do not like the cab simulation sound, you can add impulse responses. This one that I used is for free, so it would not add anything to your cost. So that was it. Hope you guys liked it. In the video description below, you'll find affiliate links to the Harley Benton British TrueTone, and if you use them, I get a small commission from Toman that really helps me to get more products for making reviews such as this one at no additional cost for you. If you find this useful, make sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more guitar and gear related content, make sure to subscribe and to hit the notification bell to stay tuned. Keep on rocking and cheers!